Hey there, Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 344 of our Get Your Goals annual challenge. Today we are going to talk about a goal setting process for 2024. I think it'd be remiss to do an annual challenge about goal setting and not prepare ourselves and set ourselves up for success next year. So over the next 9 days, we are going to spend one day on each of the different areas and aspects of our life, just like we have spent a month on each this past year, determining what our goals are going to be for 2024. Not for forever, but for 2024. But we're going to use a process. I wrote down the process I'm going to use over the next 9 days. Starting today, I'll think about just overall the process and what tools I might want to use, what I might not want to use, because I'm going to call out a few of those here. But basically, we're going to identify the area that we want to set a goal in. We're going to do an analysis, and we're going to think big, right? We always have our lifelong legacy goals in mind, but then we're going to break those down to what do I need to do this next year in order to move me toward that giant, big, hairy, audacious goal in the area or aspect of our life that we're talking about. Then we're going to brainstorm different possible goals we can set in that area. And we're going to, after we brainstorm a whole list, analyze those, combine them. We're going to rank them. We're going to prioritize them. We're going to come up with then 3. You can do 5, but by the time you take 9 areas times 5, you're getting pretty hairy when it comes to the number of goals you're going to work on for the year. I mean, I like to dream and do big picture, but I also know that if I have 45 goals that I'm working on, if I can't combine some of those, chances are they're not all going to get accomplished next year. So we want to do that. And then we're going to share in the comments below just one goal for that area. It doesn't have to be your number 1 goal, but one that you know that you want to accomplish next year. So today we're just going to go over the process. I'm going to share each. I've got actually an 8-step process. Not sure it's really that many because I could combine 2, 3, and 4 and then 6 and 7 as well. But I'm going to do it this way because I like to really call things out and make sure I'm not forgetting something important. Not sure what next year's going to bring, but this is my way of determining by setting goals that I create most of what I want to happen next year. So what's our goal setting process? Number 1, we're going to identify the area that we're working on. We're going to use the life framework because I use that for pretty much everything. So over the next 9 days, we will do physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, communications, and confidence. And we will set 3 goals, 1 primary for sure. We're going to have at least 9 goals next year, 1 for each of those areas and aspects of our life. Now, if you're like me, you'll combine some of them to achieve achieve 1 goal that accomplishes maybe 3 areas of the life framework. That's what I'm doing this year by combining contribution, spiritual, and financial with the blind nonprofit. So what is the process? Let's run through it quickly. Then remember that we're going to start actually applying it starting tomorrow and then for the next 9 days. I think we'll do physical first. So we'll do physical goals tomorrow. So you could pre-think about, okay, physically, what do I want to accomplish? How healthy do I want to be? How much exercise? How much nutrition? What kind of areas do you want to address next year with respect to your physical well-being? So the process is, number 1, identify the area. So tomorrow we're going to do physical. Today we're just doing the process. Step 2, what are your core values? Check back with your core values in that area and aspect of your life. Remember, we just did this, and then we just reviewed this past year, and we just reviewed it last month. So a lot of this will be fresh in our minds, which is why I like to set my goals at the end of the year for the following year. A lot of people will wait till the beginning of the year, and then they'll see how the first week or so goes. They'll set some New Year's resolutions, and then they'll set goals. Or, truth is, the vast majority of people don't set goals at all, much less go through this kind of a process and write them down. Okay, so we're going to look at our core values. We're going to then think about our thoughts and our beliefs. We're going to do a SWOT analysis. For step 3, what are my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats with respect to my physical well-being and my physical health? We're going to cover our feelings. We're going to think about our feelings. How do we feel about body image, identity, all those kind of things would fall under the physical one. Then step 4, we are going to think about our biggest challenges right now in that area or aspect of my life. So what are my biggest, and I guess today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and think about everything all together and I'm going to run through this process and see if I had to come up with what are my 3 overarching biggest goals for next year. What are they outside of breaking them down by each different life framework area? When we break them down by the life framework area, we'll see where there's some overlap, and we'll also see where our priorities fit in terms of our goals for next year. Then after we look at our biggest challenges, our SWOT, our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, our core values, all of those things for the area that we're looking at, then we're going to brainstorm based on what we want, right? We're always thinking about and focusing on the end result that we want, the perfect version of ourselves, right? Not perfect, because there's no such thing as perfect, but an ever improving, best possible, continually improving version of ourselves. So how are we going to go about getting that? And so we brainstorm options with that in mind, not with what is right now, but what we want our life to be like, our ideal life. And then after we get those options, we're going to analyze, rate, rank, prioritize them. Combine, if possible, is step 7. And then we're going to pick our top 3. Why 3? Because 27 goals is a huge undertaking. 45, I don't know if that's even possible. I suppose some people achieve 45 goals if they break them down into small goals, but I like big, hairy, audacious goals. So 20, 27, 30, 45, whatever number of goals we end up with, that's a lot. And then for our action, we're just going to share 1. So I'm going to think, I'm going to apply this structure and this process and this framework to all of my goals for 2024. What is my biggest desire for 2024? And I will share that in the comments below. I don't know what it is yet. I think I have an idea, but I'm not absolutely sure. Again, tips on this: think big. Think about how this last year has gone, what's worked for you, what hasn't worked for you, the lessons that you've learned, and how you can apply them to 2024 and setting your goals and objectives and achieving what you want in 2024. Remember, we're just doing a little chunk, a 1-year chunk of our goals. So we're taking our big, hairy, audacious goals, which we set, and I review those every December at the end of the year and say, okay, well, did I make progress from the beginning of the year to the end of the year? And the answer is pretty much always yes, unless I totally forgot or ignored something. All right, any questions about this? Write up guide 17 of the Get Up and Go Challenge private Facebook group. Any other questions, any specific things, please, please, please just ask. And I will make sure that it gets answered for you. And probably if you have that question, so do other people. Sometimes we think that we're the only ones that are thinking something, and it's absolutely positively not true. There are nearly 8 billion or more than 8 billion people on the planet right now. So chances are we're not the only one thinking what we're thinking at any given time. All right, have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.